I received an email, a cease and desist, not to mention her name or to speak to the controversy. I scanned down to the bottom, and it was not from a lawyer, not from an attorney, not anybody who was barred. It was from Cheyenne Bryant herself. I said, I'm gonna walk away. I do not want to be a part of black on black crime. So I let it go.
You know what? Just gonna go to hell. We're not doing this. We're not doing this, okay? Took me 12 seconds to find it on Amazon. $83. $83! You're not about to keep playing in my face. Produce the document. Show us footage. Give me the receipts. Or we don't want to hear this. What Monique say? If you're not going to put a name to it, keep it on the playground. This is child.
Cheyenne Bryant has gone from threatening us with her fake PhD to hunting down anyone who so much as had anything negative to say about her, including her once good friend, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Music, mind you, he was one of the first to publicly insult her for scamming black folks. Since then, Cheyenne has been on a full witch hunt, sending fake professors to sway Pastor Jamal, then hitting him with lawyers, a cease and desist, and threats if he didn't take it back. Pastor Jamal has dismissed the threats, but his wife Karri isn't letting it go, and is now going after Cheyenne for thinking that she could blackmail them. This has all got way out of hand. So let's break it down.
Can't believe that people are asking to see everybody. When you go to a doctor's office or somebody, if they're working with your mind or your body, if they're a mechanic, they show you on the wall, they see you. Yeah.
Yeah, you right.
You're not gonna walk in somebody and they want to deride, nigga. If you like, so I think, but I do think it's disingenuous to believe that they ask people if you're dealing with somebody's mind, if you're dealing with somebody's physical well-being.
Cheyenne Bryant rose to fame as a reliable internet therapist and got a lot of clout and money off that. She was brought on platforms like The Breakfast Club, Joe Budden, Cam Newton, and even Club Shay, which got her more publicity and trust. Music, I mean, people believe that Cheyenne was so trustworthy that she became the president of a NAACP branch. Cheyenne had built a pretty solid fan base, and she thought that she'd won the loyalty of the black community. But girl, people turned on her fast when it got out that she had been fooling and lying to people. She was one of those therapists without a license. Now, Cheyenne quickly explains it away, claiming that not having a license was so that she could cater to low-income black people that didn't music, trust, or had been ignored by the medical system. But what she couldn't explain was how she'd been calling herself a doctor of psychology the whole time when she didn't even have a degree. So, she had no degree, no proper training, and yet she was out here treating people. She literally positioned herself as a marriage and family expert despite never being married. She was out here claiming that she was still qualified to give advice because it's better to listen to a single woman who's happy than a married woman in a miserable relationship.
15 years but miserable 13. I'd rather take advice from a single woman or man who's happy, thriving, successful, meaning in their joy, not just in their monetary value, than someone who is miserable in their marriage with a side dude and a side chick, and you want to give me the advice that you give yourself that you use in your failed marriage. I'll pass. I'll pass. I'll pass. And what happens is married people like to shun on single folks. The Bible also says single people are happy people.
Look that up.
Look that up. It says marriage takes discipline.
Everyone knows that going to college is a big thing in the black community. And if you made it as far as getting a doctorate, music best believed that it would be plastered everywhere for all to see. Cheyenne couldn't produce her thesis or her doctorate degree and was very angry that people weren't buying her story.
I went to a school, Argos University, completed an entire program. I went back online to get my official transcripts because I was applying to a law school many years ago to be a professor there. And I had to provide my transcripts, right, to get hired. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down. I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Where I contact the third party, that third party only holds records for 2 years.
However, as much as professional therapists were actively calling her out on it, Cheyenne didn't get much pushback from the people or platforms music that had made her popular in the first place. Folks on the Joe Budden podcast defended her. And of course, neither Cam Newton nor Shannon Sharpe had anything to say, since they are also walking contradictions. So imagine Cheyenne's surprise when Pastor Jamal Bryant personally came online music to denounce her like she was Judas and separate himself from the narrative she was selling. She appeared on his Let's Be Clear podcast, and Jamal literally called her his play cousin since they both share the same surname. Jamal co-signed her, and even then his audience was shaky about it, music, because some of the things Cheyenne said didn't sit well, and they couldn't understand why she was there. So when it came out that she'd been lying and scheming the whole time, Jamal Bryant was angry to have been made a fool. He apologized to his fans for giving a grifter a platform and made it clear that he never agreed and was never going to agree with anything Cheyenne did.
The danger of Sister Cheyenne Bryant, not Doctor, Sister Cheyenne Bryant, is that it pulls us back further because we already had suspicion, we already had a pregnant pause, and we already had an overwhelming trepidation as to whether or not medical mental health was appropriate for us. We have a long-standing, had a pregnant pause around how it is that we have been treated, as cited in the book Medical Apartheid. And so for those who are yearning to breathe free, now having to question the credentials and the qualifiers, raises for us another stumbling block.
It was one thing for the internet to slam her for deceiving them, but Cheyenne never expected Pastor Jamal to be one of them. She thought he would just keep quiet and let it roll over like the rest of them. But Pastor Jamal, publicly distancing himself from her, basically shattered any credibility she thought she had left. So she doubled down, calling critics haters, and even joined in on the viral Netflix trend by sharing a video wearing a PhD gown that people later found out was bought on Amazon. I mean, the internet had already moved on from this, and it was crazy to see Cheyenne come back with the BS. It was kind of funny, but mainly just sad and disgraceful because you just know that her ego must have been bruised for her not to admit that she made a mistake. And while she was still trying to get the public back on her side, Pastor Jamal also revealed that Cheyenne was putting pressure on him to apologize for what he said about her. She sent him a cease and desist and threatened him to not mention her name negatively or speak about the controversy. Cheyenne also asked him to remove the post he made and any video he'd planned to release about the issue. It wasn't from any lawyer, attorney, or legal person and came from Cheyenne herself. Pastor Jamal ignored this and went about his way, but Cheyenne just can't let it go. She managed to rope someone else called Jackal Pitts into her scheme and got him to send a message claiming to be the president of Indiana Southwest Christian University. He claimed that Cheyenne got a doctorate in theocratic psychology from them, but there was no transcript or anything to show that she really earned the degree like they claimed. And when Pastor Jamal dug into it deeper, it turns out that the university doesn't even exist and was just another make-believe that Cheyenne came up with. At this point, she has been so far into this lie that there is no going back, and she just have to keep up with it by making more lies.
Doesn't even have a college email. Jackwell Pitts is on Gmail. So if you want the transcript, email him directly, and maybe he'll be able to give you answers I'm not able to provide. Y'all, let's shut the case on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. The only robes I want to see people in are the 500 kids who are trying to go to Howard, an accredited school. God bless you.
Pastor Jamal is also known to be a bit of a grifter, but even he knows when to let the drama die down and still build an audience, and it's been crazy to see Cheyenne completely crash out over it. So, he gave her the best advice he could have given anyone and told her to take a break and move on. But Pastor Jamal really underestimated how unhinged Cheyenne had become over it. Word is that he's officially been served papers and will soon battle it in court as she has accused him of providing defamatory and misleading statements about her education, credentials, and personal affairs. Now, Pastor Jamal has said that he is going to shut it down and not speak on it again, but Karri Bryant never made any promise. She was the one who reportedly introduced Cheyenne to her husband and persuaded him to bring her on his podcast, Music, because she believed it would be a good moment for both of them. But that plan backfired, and it's been nothing but trouble since Cheyenne came into the picture. And going after her husband is not something Karri takes lightly. I mean, we have all seen how she goes to hell and beyond to defend her husband. Music, allegedly, Karri called by Cheyenne and threatened her to take the lawsuit back if she does not want whatever's left of her reputation to go down the drain. She allegedly is ready to bring evidence, which includes all the people she allegedly scammed. And it's already happening. People have started coming out to expose how big con Cheyenne really is. Someone said, "I wanted to explain something from my personal encounter with Dr. Bryant, informing me that she was a woman and family therapist. This was during the time my therapist wasn't available, and I wanted another Black woman therapist." Music plus, I enjoyed some of the advice she was giving. In our initial appointment, I was never asked intake questions about myself, which was confusing. I didn't sign any forms or anything. Music, I felt like I was talking to a home girl who was giving advice. The conversation was about her multiple engagements to some men and how she sees herself rather than getting to really know me, which was why I didn't rebook. At that Music moment, I was dealing with anxiety due to PTSD and was looking for guidance. But I fell into depression after speaking with her because I wasn't in a space to hear how I wasn't a high-valued woman. I was looking for tools to learn and cope with what I was going through. Another person said, "I paid her $300 for 1 hour to be reminded I was low vibrational. My anxiety and PTSD were so triggered that I had to wait for my licensed mental health therapist to have an opening. And trust, the internet has a lot to say." Someone said, laughter. As an old woman, I knew she was fake from the way she handled the teens on the reality show Teen Moms. I was a kid then, and I remember being confused about how biased she seemed and how emotionally invested she got in their drama. Music, by the time she got on Basketball Wives and almost got into a fist fight, she just cemented those doubts. I'd sooner take advice from Dr. Pepper than her. Wait the minute. I just noticed for the first time she has a chain that says Doc. Literally the clearest indicator that someone is not a doctor is if they have jewelry saying they're a doctor. Apparently, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is more inclined to show the public her body than her dissertation and doctorate degree. Music, go figure. Thirst trapping as a means to deflect criticism and avoid accountability.
Color me surprised.
It's one thing for her to tell a lie until she believed it herself. But taking legal action against someone for simply asking for proof of credentials he was told existed is a step too far. And Cheyenne must be delusional to think that the lawsuit was enough to intimidate Pastor Jamal. If Cheyenne Bryant still claims that the degrees are real, then the documents should speak for themselves and no one should have to send threats to make questions stop. But what do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe. See you later.